when you meet political argument around this topic, it's useful to be able to explain to somebody that if you're radical and you believe in egalitarianism and justice and you think that people's human rights are important, then you might say that naturally those people on this end of the political spectrum, you know, they're against catastrophic climate change, and they're going to be okay to join a movement like this at a time like this. But equally, if you move to the other end and look at the conservative end of the spectrum, if you believe in people's right to property, and if you believe that the state should keep order and safety for people, then you also now have to be totally against the impacts of catastrophic climate change, because those things are in jeopardy as well. So we've tried to explain to people that you don't need to have a political consensus in the sense of right and left to be able to work together to try and push against what's coming in this crisis. It's also interesting that there are researchers among us. What we've done has been quite data driven and quite research heavy in terms of how it's been set up and how we've found our way to the tools that we've used to mobilise people. And lots of people think that in an ordinary sort of campaign you would find this distribution of people where you've got sort of the most people in the middle, and everybody's kind of spread to the right and the left, and you would have a certain amount of people who would take very radical action versus like a lot of people who might give up something small or sign a petition or give you £5 a month, versus like people who would deny it and not do anything at all. And people anticipate this kind of outline of like how people get engaged with something like this. And what we've found is that when you tell the truth, as we have done in these talks, there is a section of society who aren't bystanders, but they're upstanders, and they're at one end of the spectrum. If you speak the truth to people at a time like this and in this context, we find that there's a small percentage of those people who are being mobilised to act. And so when we sort of get people in a room and talk to them and take down people's details and ask if they'd be willing to get involved, maybe they'd be willing to risk arrest, go and sit in the street somewhere, take direct action, we have a relatively high percentage of people who say, I'm willing to act, even if it means making a personal sacrifice.